So I added another collaborator to the project, and the other collaborator was my other account. So I accepted the invitation with my other account, and now I'm logged in here with my other account, and I see the project. This is the project URL, which is github.com slash the username of the person who made the repository slash the name of the name of the project. And now that I'm added to this project, I can contribute to the project as well. So first of all, I'm gonna go ahead and click this code button, and you have the URL to the project, which is basically the URL you see up here, and it just has .git at the end. So I copy this link, and then I have to open my Visual Studio, and again, this is another user who wants to collaborate. And the other user can clone the repository by pasting that link here. Now, here on this computer, I already have this folder. So I can just change the name of the folder, maybe just add 2 here, and that's fine. And I'm going to clone the repository. All right. So now, if you go to Solution Explorer, you see that the repository is cloned. Sometimes when you clone a repository, it just shows the solution file here. You have to double click on it, and then it will open this. And as you can see, I don't see that model folder that I created before. And to check what's going on, you can go to your Git manage branches, and if you look at the branches you have here, you only have the master branch in your local computer. You have development and master on GitHub. And if you remember, the changes we made were only in the development branch, and we don't have them on this local computer. So I can go ahead and right click on this development and create a new local branch from this. And the development, the name is fine. And this is based on the origin slash development, meaning that the branch on GitHub. And I'm going to say track remote branch, meaning that whatever change I make on my local branch, and whenever I want to push it, it will be compared and pushed to the remote branch. And check out the branch, meaning that this branch will be my active branch. Create, and you see that the branch is made here. It's in bold, meaning that this is the active branch. And if I go check the Solution Explorer, you see that now I have this model folder with the customer file that was created before, right? So now I'm connected to the project. Now, let's say I want to contribute to the project. I add a class here, and let's say this is the appointment class. And I want to add a bunch of things here. Let's say this public string ID and with a getter and setter. All right. And also I want to go to this customer and also add a bunch of things here. Let's say an ID here. That's all. And you can see here a plus button here, meaning that this file was added. And you see a check mark here, meaning that I made some edits to this file. And if I go to Git changes, by default, I can commit all of them. And again, if you don't see this commit button here, if it's disabled for you, you go to Git settings and make sure that either the global or your repository setting, these things are correct. In my case, these are the old email and username I had, but since this email was the owner of that project, this is still fine. So you can modify this to the user that you're working with. And after you click OK, you want to close the Visual Studio, open it again, and hopefully the button will show up here. So now in this case, if I only want to commit some part of the changes I made, I can choose which one. Or I can go with all of them and mention what happened here. Added the appointment class, modified the customer class, and commit the stage changes. And you see that now I have an outgoing change here. And you can go back and like do more modifications. And for example, let's say I want to go here and add another class, and this class, let's say this is about the supplier. And then I'm gonna create a public class supplier. I'm missing the L here, but then let me create a public string. Again, let's go with that ID for simplicity. And then I want to go here and say added the supplier class, and then I can commit changes. Again, I can stage it and then commit, or just commit all. Now you see I have two outgoing changes. If you click on this, you see that you have two outgoing changes. And if you're fine with this, before pushing to the remote repository, you want to see what happened in the remote repository. Maybe somebody else is actively changing that development branch. So before anything, you want to either fetch or pull the changes. With fetch, you can review them in the incoming. With pull, you just directly pull the changes. So I'm going to pull the changes, and I see no changes made by somebody else in the project. That means I'm safe to push my changes. If you pull the changes and you see some conflict between what you did and what other people did, you want to fix your code before pushing. All right, so I push the changes, and the changes are now online, and everybody else can see the changes. Again, if I go to this GitHub, you see I have the master and I have the development. If I go to the development, you see that it says that this branch is 3 commits ahead of master. If I click on this, it shows the things that were changed, right? And now for these changes, I can create a pull request, or automatically go to the pull request here. And because these are part of the previous pull request, automatically they will show up here, and I can review and accept the changes to go to the master. All right, so now anybody who's tracking this development branch will see the changes, but if somebody's only tracking the master branch, do not see the changes before I accept the pull request.